The first thing arriving to the floor is my face.
Welkom bij In de Piste, de podcast over het circus. Vandaag hoor je het verhaal van de Skating Ernesto's. Een duo dat al 20 jaar lang draait op snelheid, vertrouwen en gevaar. Maar we beginnen bij het begin, met wie ze zijn.
I'm Veronika Falcini. I'm from Czech Republic. I'm the seventh circus generation. I'm married with Paolo Ernesto. He's from Italy. He's a clown circus Italian dynasty, 8th generation. And together we do already 18 years rolschaats-act as Skating Ernesto.
Veronika komt uit een Tsjechische circusfamilie. Paolo komt uit een Italiaanse clownsdynastie. 2 verschillende achtergronden en toch vormen ze al bijna 2 decennia een hecht rollerskater-duo. Maar hoe zijn ze eigenlijk samen begonnen?
When I get married with Paolo, it was 2 different worlds actually, because I was doing with my family juggling, unicycle, and I had my own aerial act, and Paolo with his family was doing clown act, and this combination together was a little bit difficult. What we will do together to have something in common beside in the show, not only outside the show. Also something in common, we were thinking what could we do, and in that time I was doing aerial act, so I was asking Paolo, let's do some aerial act together, and we were like, yeah, okay, we could do it, and then okay, well, let's practice, okay, later. And then suddenly when I said, okay, let's practice now, he told me he's scared of heights. So I was like, okay, this is not going to work. So what else could we do? And then we just said, okay, maybe we could do, because that was a new thing in that time, 20 years ago, was very few roller skate acts. Then we started to practice it, and we were so excited about this act that after like 4 months we had our premiere, and since then we are doing it till now.
Ze zochten iets dat ze samen konden doen. Aerial acts vielen weg omdat Paolo hoogtevrees had. En zo kwamen ze uit bij rollerskating, toen nog een zeldzame discipline. Na 4 maanden trainen stonden ze al op het podium. Maar hoe leer je zo'n gevaarlijk act eigenlijk aan?
Yeah, no, it was not easy because it was new for him and also for me. Not one of us could do it. It was not new, so we was looking all the videotape from the skaters that was before. We had many festivals on the tape, and then we saw like skating wheelers, skating arata, Giurintano from Italy. We was watching the video all the time. Say, oh, they are holding like this and they are going up like that. So it was taking more time like this, but we were so enthusiastic to do it. We learned it like that.
Ze leerden door oude videobanden te bekijken en eindeloos te oefenen. En dan komt het gevaar. Bij rollerskating draait alles om snelheid. Een val gebeurt altijd hard, altijd snel en meestal zonder dat je handen kunt gebruiken om je val te breken.
Exactly. It has to be done in high speed. If it's low speed, it's not working because the double weight goes over you. So the faster you go, the rotation keeps you in the middle and there's a balance. So that means that if you fall, you always fall in a high speed, and the falls are always very fast and very painful, because you don't have time to put the hands down. Usually we are holding by hand, and usually my legs are somewhere up. So the first thing arriving to the floor is my face. And Paolo usually, if he falls, then he falls on the back, on his neck, with me and the skates on him. So it is risky, and we must not think about it. We just have to really concentrate, and as most as possible, any distraction in the act, it means for us not to stop, but to go faster. So the speeds bring us on the good position, on the good balance in the middle of the small stage.
En dat brengt ons bij een van de zwaarste momenten uit hun carrière.
So when we was in Las Vegas, we arrived there, and the different time and the different food made us that we was very sick the first week, and we had no power. And anyway, we decided that we will work. And during the second trick, the Paolo's legs just like get off. He just like, it was like no power, and he just fall down with me in the moment that my feet and my arms was up. So I did arrive exactly here on my face. And so we went to the hospital directly, and I was lucky there was like nothing broken, not my teeth, not my nose, nothing at all. But it was very painful. For 6 months, I didn't feel this part of my face. So yes, it did happen. And Paolo broke his ribs in the back as falling in the back. In this act, it's easy to fall.
In Las Vegas ging het mis. Door ziekte had Paolo geen kracht meer. En tijdens de tweede truc vielen ze samen. Veronika landde met haar gezicht op de grond, Paolo brak zijn ribben. En toch gingen ze door, zelfs in watershows, waar het risico nog groter is, want water verandert alles. Maar hoe beïnvloedt water jullie act?
Water is a big distraction, very big distraction. That's why working in a water show with circus-dynastieën is even more high risk because the water, of course, makes you slip. Then the stones from costume, when they fall down and you roll over them, if they are big, you can fall over them. If the table is not exactly straight, it pushes you out. Humidity in the tent, in the morning show, for example, when they put on the light and the heaters, the tent start to drop water. And even after a few hours, there is some drop that can fall on the table. That's also, everything is very high risk. Even when it's too hot in the summer, turning fast, the table is working in a different way. We have a wood table and the wheels and the table together in the speed gets more warmer. And that's also, every time it's a different way of skating. So it's very easy to fall in the roller skate act. And luckily it falls that you just like fall and it's painful, but you continue. Sometimes there are like really bad falls. So hopefully when it falls, they will be only easy falls.
Water maakt de act extreem gevaarlijk. Druppels op de tafel, vocht in de tent, stenen van kostuums, temperatuurverschillen. Elke show voelt anders en elke show kan fout gaan. Daarom filmen ze elke voorstelling, analyseren ze elk detail en blijven ze hun act aanpassen. Maar dat aanpassen gaat veel verder dan alleen veiligheid. Want hoe blijven ze de act vernieuwen?
When it was COVID, I was studying art makeup to bring it in the act. So we have this kind of original, different makeup, very strong. And that also brings a little bit of maybe originality or maybe a little bit the different side of roller skate. So I think all the details together bring it to what it is now. Sometimes just Paolo have an idea of a costume. Maybe he sees something on internet of some singer or some actor and I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. And then maybe I just look at the roller skate table and I would say, oh, maybe we should try to make it a little bit higher. Or Paolo would say, oh, let's put the mirrors around. So there is no rule. Any idea comes up, we think about it, we think it through, and then sometimes we do it and it's not working. Like we did one time also, we put light under the roller skate table, but then the idea was actually cool. But when we put it on stage, the light of the circus was so strong that the light on the roller skate table was not seen. So we took it off. So no, there's always both sides putting ideas. Sometimes they are good, sometimes they are gone because they didn't work correctly. When we are working in theaters, then we also adapt the act to that kind of place. When it's a circus, then we see what's working in circus tents. So it's also different. On every place you go, are able to adapt it to the stage that we are working at the moment.
Nieuwe kostuums, nieuwe muziek, nieuwe bewegingen, make-up, lasersvuur. Sommige ideeën werken, andere totaal niet. En soms moet een hele scène verdwijnen omdat het technisch onmogelijk blijkt. Maar één ding verandert nooit: het vertrouwen tussen hen. Maar hoe bouw je eigenlijk dat vertrouwen op?
It's true, you must trust each other absolutely, and this is not coming just because, oh, he can skate, I can skate, we trust each other. It takes time, and that's the reason actually I never did roller skate, not even for fun, practicing with another portor. That portor means the man who's carrying me, because the trust is building on every situation, and that situation happens sometimes and sometimes it doesn't happen. For example, with so many years with Paolo, we know in each situation how we will react, and that's the moment that you trust. Okay, now there's water on the floor, and then he knows if he can skate or if he will say, okay, stop, we must clean the floor to be safe. Or sometimes can happen moment that you are falling, portor could let you go to save himself and put his hands on the floor. Or there is portor, like I already know Paolo is, that when we are falling, he's holding me above, he falls, and then slowly I land on him when it's possible, of course. And this is we learn this every time when there is something out of the schema, to see, oh, he reacted good. Oh, okay, I feel now better. And this is so if there would be for example, Paolo, when we was first year after COVID in the season Charles Knie, Paolo's Achilles broke and he could not work. And there was the question if I could find somebody else to me between the time that he will heal to skate. And I was like, it's just not a question that, yeah, you can find many, but what if he make me fall in a way that I cannot work after? What if he's not responsible? What if he drinks alcohol the night before and then he's not focused? There are so many trust issues that I prefer not to find nobody and say, no, better no skate and I will wait for my Paolo.
Vertrouwen ontstaat door jaren samen te vallen, samen te reageren, samen te beslissen wanneer wanneer iets veilig is of niet. Veronika werkt nooit met een andere porter, omdat één verkeerde reflex haar carrière kan beëindigen. En dat vertrouwen speelt ook een rol tijdens de act zelf, in kleine signalen en blikken. Maar hoe communiceren jullie tijdens de act?
I think in our situation, it helps that we can say in an open way, any mistake there isn't on stage, anything that makes me feel uncomfortable. And knowing us out of the stage, in the stage, sometimes there is just a look between us to see there is something wrong. And when I see Paolo like looking in a different way with my eyes, I'm like, what's happening? And then he just show me on the floor that there is a piece of mud, for example. Or he just makes me like feel like he's dizzy. So we know, okay, so I'm making longer the compliment so he can find his balance or he can clean the floor and we continue. But this is not only on stage. I think we have this connection because we are all day together, 20 years. We know each other very good. So any small looking differently, eye contact differently, I straight away see or he see on me there is something not okay.
Een blik, een kleine beweging, een signaal op de vloer. Ze weet exact hoe de ander reageert, zelfs in stressmomenten. En dat is nodig, want de omstandigheden veranderen voortdurend. Zeker in een watershow zoals bij Circus Charles. Maar wat was nu de grootste uitdaging tijdens een watershow?
I think the most challenging was to get used to working with the fountains around us by Charles Knee, because the water is really all over around us, very close to us. And when the pressure of the water is a little bit higher, every town is different pressure, the water goes stronger and there are drops coming on the table. And when you have full house, you don't want to stop every time and clean it. So we was deciding to, okay, when it's small drop, let's not think about it and let's try to skate over. And to work and get used to it, we was very nervous every show and we was lucky all the time after the show that nothing happened, but that was very challenging to find the limit of how much drops of water we can have on the table. And also with the drops on the table during the tricks, we are thinking, okay, if we fall from here, we are still okay. If we fall now, it will be a bad fall. And when you work thinking like that, that's very stressful and challenging to get over it. But we are there already. Next year gonna be the 5th year and always with the water, and we get used to it. So that was the most challenging period of during our act. It's from the professional side. All the skaters know how crazy dangerous it is with the water, and so many roller skaters that come to see the act tell us that you are crazy. We would not accept work with the water because you risk every time to fall. And from the side of public, they ask us all the time, isn't it dangerous to work with the water? You cannot fall? And we are like, yes, we can. And they are like, so why are you doing it? And we are like, well, that's the show it's about. It's dangerous for all the acts. For high wire, if they have the shoes wet, for the juggler, the balls fall on the floor, then you have to take them back in the hand and you have wet hands. For the juggler, it's not so dangerous, but even for his act, it's stressful because the water makes him slip. For all the acts that is in the water show, it is another level of challenge. So I do believe that the water gives something more to every act. That's why it is a big stage, water stage that have Circus Charles Knee. And that's why also the many other professional acts admire that. But also seeing roller skate acts without water in other shows, every act of them have something different, something original, and something nice to watch. Some is a modern style, some is romantic, some is Spanish style. So I don't think it's necessary to have the water there because every act is original. But some acts also put maybe fire in it, or they blind their eyes. It's already the time now. It's always good to go a little bit higher with the level because public can see online or also live so many high-level acts that just a normal basic act is maybe already too boring.
De fonteinen, de druk van het water, de druppels op de tafel. Elke show was een risico. Ze moesten leren hoeveel water nog veilig genoeg was om door te gaan. Maar ook backstage is er enorm veel voorbereiding nodig. Maar hoe ziet die voorbereiding er eigenlijk uit?
But for example, before the skate in the backstage, there is a big preparation of the table. That means that Paolo has to clean the table. That is totally clean. He with the hand touch every part of the wood to feel if there is something different, some small hole or some stone stuck. So he needs to feel it all the tables, and he's like, okay, the table is not scratched, it's okay. Then he put on it a white powder magnesium all over the table, and this powder helps to avoid humidity. And when that's funny, when other people around ask Paolo, who's not skater, why you put the powder there? Paolo's like, it's against the humidity. And they're like, oh, that saves you. That's actually helping you not to fall. Oh, so it's the powder. Yeah, like, yeah, I wish. Like, no, it's just make it a little bit more like not sleepy, but it doesn't help you anything really. But so this needs to be done before the skates. You need to put the magnesium on and to feel the table that there is nothing on it or no holes. Because, for example, this year I started, I don't know if you saw the act, on the last next spin, I put a firework on my skate and it's doing a round with fireworks on the table. And the fireworks have inside a powder and small pieces of metal. And these pieces of metal, not only that we are all burned, it makes holes in my thighs because it's fire, but it goes on the table in the wood and it gets also stuck in it. And when we skate on it, then Paolo feels like he's going over a stone. So even that's making it more that Paolo needs to really clean it every show to be sure that it doesn't disturb us during the next show. Oh, the beginning, I have a big white dress with a fan in my hands, and then the fan goes away, the dress goes away. Then I have a small like material here, and I'm playing with it. Then I have the fireworks, and everything in the combination is coming and going. But after the act, where we go in the backstage, we have like the dress and the fan and the white material and the firework we have to put up and charge the battery for the firework and have the remote of it. Then to prepare the dress, to prepare the fan, put everything on for the next show. It's like so much preparation before and after the act, and the people just see like, and it's few seconds. I have the dress on maybe 30 seconds. The firework is on for 20 seconds. It's a small detail going fluid in the act, but how many people is behind? One with the remote control to put on the fire. The other one had to catch the dress, put it on the place. It's so much work behind it.
De tafel moet volledig schoon zijn. Paolo voelt elke centimeter met zijn hand, zoekt naar oneffenheden, legt magnesium en verwijdert metaaldeeltjes van vuurwerk. En dat allemaal voor een act waarvan het publiek maar een paar seconden kostuums, vuurwerk of effecten ziet. En dan is er nog de voorbereiding van hunzelf. Want hoe bereiden ze zichzelf voor op de act?
I'm trying always not to, because I know from my family, we was doing juggling. And before, we were used to warming up always juggling. And sometimes the space or timing was not enough. And if we would not warm up, we would go in the act like, oh my God, we didn't warm up. It's going to go wrong. So then my father said, okay, we're going to stop warming up, because then we will think, oh, we didn't warm up. So let's get used to it. Just enter and do it. So I'm coming from this, not giving it so much focus before the act, just put my skate on and go. But I noticed Paolo, he needs his minute before the act, maybe 2 minutes. He wants to be alone. He pray, and then he's ready to go in the act. And I give him the space. So everybody has a different way of doing it.
Veronika warmt bewust niet op om niet afhankelijk te worden van routines. Paolo neemt 2 minuten voor zichzelf, bidt en focust. En dan begint de act. Elke dag opnieuw in een ritme dat bijna het hele jaar hetzelfde is. Maar hoe ziet een leven op tour er zoal uit?
In general of touring, I like, again, thanks to COVID, it makes me realize what actually I like about it. Before, it was just a lifestyle that I didn't try another kind of life. When it was COVID, it made me realize what I appreciate about this touring. And that's actually that it keeps me, my husband, and our kids together on the circus ground. It's like a small town. I can leave my kids outside. I see them all the time from the window. My husband is passing by. And when we was home and doing a normal life, like a normal people, Paolo was working in a post office. I was working in the pizzeria. And we didn't see, and my kids was home with the grandparents, with my parents. It was like I went away for 10 hours. Paolo was in 20 kilometers on the other side of Prague from me. He was doing his job. We met only in the night home for a few hours because we was tired. Paolo had a day shift, I had night shift, so When I come home 11 o'clock in the night, Paolo was already sleeping because he was waking up 5 o'clock in the morning. The kids were sleeping, and one time I was working, and small Paolo Jr., he was at that time sick. He called me and he's like, "Oh, Mama, my tooth fell. What should I do?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not there to help him. I'm not there to say it's okay." And I had to tell him over the phone, "Go to grandmother. It's okay. Don't worry. I will come tonight." And I knew when I will come back, he will be sleeping already. And in the circus, that's for me the most calm thing to know, that the kids are just on the circus ground with people also taking care. So I know if they are playing by my friend, that my friends at that moment are taking care of them, and I can cook. Then I just open the door. I call Paolo, and Paolo is behind the truck. "Yes, I'm here. Can you do this? Can you do that?" So this is very, for me, what I appreciate about touring. What I don't like about it, it's sometimes that you want to have off. That from, for example, from March till beginning of January, you have the same rhythm. That means that every day is two shows. Usually we have selling, so we are, and it doesn't matter if we are on the season or if we are in the Christmas show. It's in Germany. As long as it's Germany, it has the same rhythm of day. So usually the show is 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock. If you have selling, you have to be there like minimum 1 hour before. So that means 1 o'clock putting on the makeup. That means then 12 o'clock cooking, but we want to practice. So 11 o'clock, you have to go practice. So the laundry, the cleaning, everything you have to do before that. So you are actually running during the day before you go to selling. When you go to selling, then already the day is just flying till 11 o'clock in the night because you are selling, working, then quick, you give the food between the acts to the kids when they are hungry, then you go again selling, then you go again working, then it's finale. Next show, you go selling, and it's like, so sometimes, even when it's day off, you actually pack everything, you travel, then you have to go and shop food and stuff, what you cannot do on the working day. Then you wash the costumes, you repair them, and then the next day, it's already working day. So I would also appreciate if they'd be like, just like day off, not doing nothing at all, to do something different, to go to the beach, to go away, but that's not possible.
Het ritme is intens. Koken, oefenen, sminken, verkopen, spelen, herstellen. Weinig vrije dagen, veel herhaling. Maar er is ook iets moois. Ze zijn altijd samen als gezin. En dat brengt ons bij de toekomst. Want hoe kijken jullie naar de toekomst van jullie act?
It makes me a little bit, it's funny because thanks to other people, it makes me realize one thing. Other people start to ask me, how long do you think you can still do this act? That makes me realize that we are getting old, because I'm in January 40 and Paolo is 44. So actually we feel fit because we continue to work. We are going to gym. We are keeping our diet. But it does make me realize really how long we can still do roller skating, because there are other disciplines in the circus that we could do. I am practicing with my family juggling as a plan B, where we can, because the skating is very, very strong for power, for headache. It's true you cannot do it long because it needs so many energy. Juggling, it's less energy. Paolo is from a clown family, so he can do clown act. So there we have a plan B. But it does make me think, how long can we do this way of doing it? And so my wish is actually that now, next week, our son Daniel is going, he's 15, he's doing his Diabolo act. He will enter now also with us in the roller skate. And we have one more son, he's 11. And I'm hoping in maybe 4 years, he could also do the roller skate with us. So for my now, let's say my next step dream is not so crazy dream. It's not that I want to win 1 million, but I'm hoping that we can still do the act until that time, that we can do it with our kids for years, to give them the first step. And then slowly maybe we can go out doing maybe juggling, maybe the clown, and the kids will continue in the way that we actually are bringing them. That's for now my dream.
Ze worden ouder, maar blijven trainen. Hun kinderen leren acts en misschien, hopelijk, kunnen ze binnenkort als familie samen op de rollerskate-tafel staan. Maar Veronika denkt ook breder aan de toekomst van het circus zelf. Want hoe ziet zij de toekomst van het circus en de circuskinderen?
So I noticed many artists lately don't have kids, or if they have kids, they let them study. They don't practice with them anymore. We are now a lot with circus people. We are a lot in different companies, and I see the people that have children, they don't practice with them. Oh, I don't have the energy, or oh no, I will make them study. But if we don't practice with our kids, circus would not have artists. There will be no future for circus because there will be nobody to work in. As long as we will practice with our children, the children will have their act, so they will work in circuses. Circuses will have artists. So not only studying is the future for circus kids, there will be future. If not in a circus tent, then open tent or variety, open stage, theaters. But the show will go on as long as there will be artists doing it. But if you only study with your kids and not practice act, then there will be no future for this kind of culture. Circus is for me, I would say, the best way of living. I see all the world. I'm paid to go to Las Vegas. I don't have to pay the tickets to go there to visit. I learn a lot of languages. My kids, I see my kid Daniel, he speaks Spanish, Italian, English. He learned Chinese last year. He learned their culture. Their minds get so open and friendly with everybody. So I think it's a big world bringing in on one circus place. I would see it in that kind of way.
Ze ziet dat veel artiesten hun kinderen niet meer trainen en vreest dat circus daardoor talent verliest. Voor haar is circus een levensstijl. Reizen, talen leren, samen zijn, een wereld in het klein. En dat wil ze doorgeven. Dit was In de Piste. Een gesprek over risico, vertrouwen, familie, traditie en de liefde voor het circusleven. Wil je meer backstage-verhalen horen? Abonneer je dan op deze podcast en deel de aflevering met andere circusliefhebbers.